up, everyone? It is I, DPX. Got a bit of a cough. Let's hope that doesn't become annoying at all. But, I'm joined today by Greg, the video game nut. How you doing?
I'm good.
And today, we are doing a pre-recorded episode. We haven't been doing a whole lot of episodes. Sorry about that. We'll try to pick up the pace a little bit. But, we got the Game Awards. A crazy year for gaming. If there was ever a year I was looking forward to for the Game Award nominees to come out, it was probably this one. And we're gonna go around each nominee and give our picks. We're gonna vote, or I'm gonna. I don't know if Greg's doing the voting, but
I'm gonna be voting as well. So okay, with my recording, it's gonna be switching over.
Yeah. Now, my laptop is having some issues, where it shuts down randomly. So as a backup, Greg is recording, so I don't like. So if we end up using his backup recording, that's why this might seem a little odd. All right, but if not, that was useless. But anyways, we're gonna get right into it. I'm starting from the bottom, by the way. We're working our way up to Game of the Year. So all
right, let me switch over, and I am gonna hit start voting on my end.
Yep. First, it's the esports stuff. So, you there or?
Yeah, I'm still here.
No, I mean like there on the category.
Straight up, they put Game of the Year on the official website.
Yeah.
Bruh. Do you know what website you're on?
I'm on. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna get into it. We're starting off with the esports stuff. Best esports event. I feel like these are always like the same few events.
Yeah, but my vote is honestly chosen with this one from what I remember. Yeah, it's too easy.
Your nominees are 2023 League of Legends World Championship, Blast.tv Paris Major 2023, EVO 2023, the International Dota 2 Championships 2023, and Valorant Championships 2023. My vote, I believe this is yours as well, EVO.
Yeah, that's agreed. It's too easy.
It's like
I stayed up late watching this.
Yeah,
I'll be fair with you.
It's like the only actual it's the only one of these events that I actually give a shit about. Like I've like all these other ones are like specific, you know. It's like League of Legends, Dota 2, Valorant. I'm not quite sure what Blast.tv is, but like EVO is just fun. And this year's EVO especially was it was something else.
It was really good.
So that's
They even got keys to the city.
Yeah,
like the key to Vegas at the end.
I received an error. It wouldn't let me keep going, but it's okay.
Damn. But I found it on fucking Variety. Well, I will probably do my votes on the screen right after. So that's it for using my recording. Yeah, so Evo's gonna take my vote.
Yeah. Technical difficulties here because it's not fucking
on both of our ends.
Yeah, no, it's just being weird. This time it's not my laptop. It's my. By the way, guys, if you're watching the if you're watching the YouTube version, there's no other version of this. But if you're actually watching and you're not listening, you're actually watching. You're probably like, what am I? I have another laptop right here. So yeah, okay. So next category, best esports coach. I have no idea. I have no opinion here. We got Christine.
No, me neither.
I'm not gonna read their full names. I'm just gonna read their nicknames. We got Potter, Zonic, Gunba, XTQZZZ, and Home. Normally, whenever someone has a weird name that I don't know how to pronounce or say, I go with that one, and I'm gonna go with XTQZZZ.
I'm just gonna follow straight up because I give no shits for this.
Yep. Next up, I get why they do this. I get why they have all these esports stuff because because they're trying to celebrate video games as a whole, and esports is a pretty big part of video games, but I don't really care. So best esports team, we got Evil Geniuses, Fnatic, Gaiman Gladiators, JD Gaming, and Team Vitality. I've actually heard of Evil Geniuses. I've not heard of any of these other ones. So by default, Evil Geniuses gets my vote.
Yeah, I'll go with the one you heard of as well. I'll be fair.
Yep. Esports Athlete. We got Faker. I feel like I remember seeing Faker's name like last.
Wasn't it last year as well? Yeah.
We got Zywoo, Demon One, Hydra, Ruler, and Imperial Hal. That's weird. Why are there 6 nominees? All the there's like, it's so weird. Like every category has 5 nominees, but then there's like a bunch of like random ones that have 6, and then of course Game of the Year has 6. But like it's so weird that they do that. Because Faker was last year, I could have sworn I remember seeing his name last year. We're gonna go with.
I think his name was there. I'll go with that too.
I don't know if he
even though I'm not a League player. I don't think he did, if I'm right.
All right, best esports game. CS:GO,
you know what?
League, PUBG Mobile, okay, and Valorant. We'll go with CS:GO, or that's Counter-Strike 2.
It's CS2. No, at Comic-Con, there was an Xbox 360 with CS:GO, and we were joking, what the fuck is a CS:GO? It's Counter-Strike 2, Valve. Stop reminding us of the pain.
All right, next up, Content Creator of the Year. This one, I feel like, no disrespect to any of these guys, but aside from Quackity, I've not heard of anyone here. Now, Greg...
So I'm guessing you're going with Quackity?
Yeah, I might as well. Greg, just by looking at them, I think I know which one you want to...
Yeah, it's clearly Mouse. It's funny how these are all real people, and then they put a straight-up fucking VTuber. I know she won a Streamy last year, but this is kind of interesting to see. So, I'm looking to see how this plays out.
Yep, okay. Now we can actually start. that was me.
Real shit.
Next, so we got... Okay, this one I still think is a really dumb category, and I'll explain why in a minute. But most anticipated game, you got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8. I wasn't actually thinking...
This is a very tough one, I'll be honest.
I didn't think we were gonna...
There's like 2 of them that I'm looking forward to away.
I didn't think we were going to see Tekken 8 here. They don't usually like fighting games, but yeah, it's good to see Tekken 8 there. But I think this is a dumb fucking category because, like, we're supposed to be celebrating like the games like that came out, like not specifically the games that came out this year, but like it's a bit weird that we're celebrating like what's coming. You know what I mean? And that would have to do with marketing. So it'd have to be like what game has had the best marketing.
Yeah.
So far, which I guess.
Probably Final Fantasy's already has like Butterfinger going with it, like remake. Honestly,
I've seen a lot of marketing for Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth and Tekken 8.
I mean, there's a demo available.
Tekken 8's been
Tekken 8 just got. That's been going strong, and they just got Reina yesterday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to all these games. I don't care too much about Like a Dragon, which is weird because I've been told like. This is definitely a type of game you would like, and I definitely believe like these games definitely look like they're my kind of game. But I'm just not. I mean,
it's no longer like a brawler game, really. It's more like an actual RPG.
Well, and
then there's mini games like everywhere.
Like a Dragon, from what I heard, Like a Dragon, is. Well, those are like RPGs. When Like a Dragon Gaiden, which is like their mainline games, that's like...
Gaiden is basically back to the old formula. Yeah. I played like the first chapter and I started a little bit of the second. It's more like the old formula Yakuza games.
Yeah, but from what I've seen from Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, like it does look pretty good. But all these other ones look... Like, I'm excited for all these, like Tekken 8, Star Wars Outlaws.
Yeah, that is going to be a big one. Bandai's giving me a fucking birthday gift, technically.
Star Wars Outlaws, Hades 2. I forgot about Hades 2, but damn. But my vote has to go to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
All right. I mean, I would put the same, but I'm going to go in order, technically, of release. So Tekken is at the top of my list.
Yeah. My list of my most anticipated games of next year, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is it's going to be number 1. Tekken 8 is probably going to be number 2. But like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like I was really excited for 16, but back when like 7 Rebirth and 16, you know, they might come out in the same year. They might both come out this year. I would have put
I
Rebirth
remember
higher.
that.
I would have put Rebirth higher on my list, but
I mean, it's not just PS5, but these are both bound to come to PC in the future as well.
yeah, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, like that game's looking to be like.
Yeah, it's gonna be big.
That's.
I'm trying to go to a midnight launch for it at a GameStop nearby my house.
Ooh, that would.
That's gonna be awesome. I mean, I have class in the morning, but I don't have to wake up until like later.
All right. Well, we're gonna move. Wait. You said you're picking Tekken, right?
Yeah, I'm going in order.
Okay. Next up.
Multiplayer. We're at multiplayer, I think.
No, we're at best adaptation.
Oh, yours is different than mine. Hang on. Let me scroll up.
Okay, that's a bit weird, but alright, well, I'm gonna read them off. We got, I think I've seen all of these, damn. We got Castlevania Nocturne, Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, excuse me, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. Look, you go off of the trailers of Twisted Metal, I would have, like, laughed at you for putting Twisted Metal in this, but, like, they really did show, like, the worst clips in those trailers for Twisted Metal.
They did.
That show,
I didn't feel, like, sold really on it as much as, like, Last of Us.
Yeah, but, like, Twisted Metal isn't, I'm gonna quickly go over all these. Twisted Metal, like, it's nothing crazy good or anything like that, but, like, it's way better than I thought it was gonna be. But, you know, it's probably my 5th favorite of all these. The Super Mario Bros. Movie. Here's what it's a mid movie, but a great adaptation. And you know, just how well it did at the box office. Like, it's among the top 20 highest grossing movies of all time, I believe. I think that,
and Universal, they said it's one of their newest big franchises.
Yeah.
So that's a huge tease of what's to come in the future.
That could easily, like, give it the win in this category, but for me, there's no question. It's The Last of Us. That's
Last of Us was really good, but I don't know if Mario's gonna be nominated for Oscars, so I might just do it as a safeguard so Peaches can fucking win something.
Oh no, Peaches has to win Best Song, or I don't know, win, but has to get nominated for Best Song at the Oscars.
Yeah, for a Grammy, honestly.
As well, yeah. I really like Castlevania Nocturne. That was really good, and Gran Turismo is like maybe like a top. It's in my top 10 best movies of the year, but it's The Last of Us. The way they adapted that game, like they adapted it like very faithfully, but changed things to make it translate better.
Yeah, like some of the characters I know, the years that the game took place was changed as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that was an actual birthday gift because I was watching the first episode with friends live as it aired on HBO.
Yeah. Last of Us, like, it's amazing, that show.
Cannot wait for season 2.
I can't wait either. Next up, best multiplayer. Wait, so you're
up now to scroll back down. Now to scroll all the way back down on my end.
Your vote for best adaptation.
Super Mario.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, I would put Last of Us, but you know what? I think the creators do deserve a bit of love.
Mm-hmm. Best multiplayer. Your nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. So
all right, the top half of this row we can probably eliminate.
Let me shut off my phone so it doesn't fucking buzz like a bitch. But okay, so Baldur's Gate 3, I've not played the co-op in that game, but the co-op, I've heard great things about it. Co-op's not the first thing I think of, though, when it comes to this game, though. Diablo 4 can fuck right off. Party Animals, I've played that. It's a lot of fun. For me, personally, it's between Street Fighter and Mario.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, we did Street Fighter together, even though That went for a different story when it was supposed to be a Mad Lads.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know about that, but we recorded an episode of Mad Lads of us playing Street Fighter, but then Greg didn't have the mics on, and I told him to record when I normally record, so like it's on me as well. So there's shared.
It's on my channel. It's on my channel. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not lost forever.
We decided that it was just gonna be a gameplay video, Street Fighter 6, between me and him on his channel. But yeah, this is really tough. This is really tough. Street Fighter, and Mario. Greg, I'm gonna ask you. What.
All right.
What you're gonna go with.
All right, so SF6, I mean, it's still big, even though it's lost a bit of its player base. Like, even at my school, they're promoting the game with, like, this Red Bull gaming hub. There's one of my friends in my Python class who's dorming there. He was like, oh, there was a Red Bull thing last week. I was on a hitbox and sucked shit. I was like, oh, damn, I was working. I mean, if I was there, I probably would have whooped everyone, no matter what. As for Mario, I mean, you don't unlock the online until you play, like, the first few levels. But the online that I did for the game was like the standees and the ghosts and whatnot. Or essentially, as people call it, cheesing the game.
Yeah. So which one are you going to go with?
I mean, Mario, like when you do the actual co-op, it's more with like online friends, and it's the ghosts only that's like worldwide. I think I'm going to go with Street Fighter 6 for this one.
I would really want to give this to Mario, but I think I'm going to give it to Street Fighter as well. But, yeah, that was a tough one. We'll see a lot of those tough ones coming up.
Upcoming.
Best sports/racing game. My answer.
Scroll up a little bit.
My pick for this category is actually F-099, but it's not here. So,
rip to that, I guess.
I'm not even kidding. That I'm thinking of making my best of the year list a top 15 as opposed to a top 10 because there's so much that came.
Yeah, this year went hard.
F-099 might make the list. But we got EA Sports FC 24, which is the new FIFA in case you guys didn't know. F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and The Crew Motorfest. I've not played any of these games except for Forza Motorsport, so I'm going to select that one.
I'm going to give it to Forza as well, even though I don't have an Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a series I know most. I mean, I heard the first Hot Wheels Unleashed was pretty good, but then again, I mean, it's one of those kind of games, like with, slapping licenses all over.
Yeah. Here's my thing about Forza, though. Like, you guys might have, seen me, be very excited for this game, and, you might have seen me be, say, hey, I'm going to review this one, and I never reviewed it. Why didn't I ever review it? Because it's not bad. I don't want to call it bad, but it's, I played it, and it's just Forza. I don't really, I tried to articulate what I wanted to say in a review. I just didn't know what to fucking say. It's a racing. It's Forza. I feel like it's a pretty by the numbers Forza game, to be honest. But it's still very on a technical aspect and on many aspects, it's very impressive. So it definitely wins this category because I did play it. But it's not a bad game. It's just I don't got much to say about it. But yeah, so I
feel this one was maybe a little bleak of a section.
What the
sports racing? I feel it was a little bleak with the selection.
Also, I find it a little weird that they do sports/racing. I guess
and there's only one sports game, which is EA Sports FC.
Yeah, that's true.
Because everything else is racing.
Yeah, that's weird. But we're gonna go on to the next one, which is even more confusing. Why they lump these two genres together? Best sim/strategy game. Again,
and most of it is Nintendo, which is surprising.
Yeah, that was 3 of the 5 nominees are Nintendo. But again, why are you lumping sim and strategy? Those are that would mean fucking. I mean, not this year, but that would mean Goat Simulator and Warhammer, or would be in the same.
Yeah, that would be funny. That would actually be pretty funny.
What the hell is that? But so our nominees are Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. I've been meaning to play Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
Me too, honestly. I've heard good things about it, and even so, it has an English dub cast.
Yeah.
And apparently Andy is voiced by the same woman who did Ash Ketchum in the 4Kids dub of Pokemon.
That's cool. Yeah, so I've been meaning to play Advance Wars. I've also been meaning to play Pikmin 4. Don't have much.
Yeah, same.
Don't have much desire to play Company of Heroes 3 or City Skylines 2. Although I think City Skylines is on Game Pass, so I might check that out. Fire Emblem. I'm gonna say Fire Emblem. I've kind of softened up on this game as of late. Like throughout the year, as more and more better games have come out, I was like, Fire Emblem Engage wasn't anything too crazy. I feel like it's a bit of a step down from Three Houses, but like it's still a pretty solid game, and it's the only one of these games that I've played.
I mean, same here with me, but even though I haven't played it, I probably give my vote to Pikmin 4 because they're little men. You can pick.
Yeah.
Just don't ask where that came from. Just Pikmin has become honestly a joke in the crew I hang out with upstairs in school.
From what I've heard about Pikmin 4, it's probably gonna win this. I think it's gonna win this.
Nah, honestly, the team poured their all in this one, and I really feel that's gonna pay off.
Like I wanted to play it, but it's just I just couldn't. I just didn't when it came out. I was like, I guess I'll wait because I'm not that big of a Pikmin fan, but like, a lot of people seem to love this game. A lot of people say that it's their game of the year, you know, which is crazy.
I mean, it's hard to believe it's a game of the year, but it's definitely one of the better ones of this year.
Okay, let's just say this wasn't a crazy year for video games, right? Like, normally there's a Nintendo nominee in Game of the Year. And let's just say Zelda and Mario did not come out this year. The Nintendo nominee in a normal year, without those two games, probably would have been Pikmin 4. I know that was very specific what I just said, but yeah. So your pick for that category
is Pikmin 4.
All right. Next up, best family game. Well, actually,
this one is another kind of obvious one.
But I just want to say it's actually not best family game. It's just best family. So which of these is the best family?
Wow!
Your nominees are.
Look at all these families. They're all wonderful in their own way.
I mean, you could look at each of these as their own families, I guess, in a way. But
yeah, pretty much.
But like, so we got Disney Illusion Island. I think they spelled Delilah wrong. I'm pretty sure.
Not on my end.
Are you looking on the actual Game Awards website?
I'm not. I'm looking at Variety.
Okay. On here, it's. Did they spell it Delilah, like Dallala for you?
No, it's the standard on my end, which is really strange.
Wait, what is it for you?
Delilah, like the normal Dlala.
Oh, that's how I thought it was. Dal. Okay, then I guess I spelled it right.
Yeah, that's the normal. That's the normal.
Okay,
Whoops.
So Disney Illusion Island, Party Animals, Pikmin 4, Sonic Superstars, and Mario Wonder. I've played all these games except for Pikmin 4. Party Animals is a lot more fun than I like. That game is a lot of fun, but I'm not gonna pick that one. Sonic Superstars. It's a fuck. It's a fine Sonic game. It wasn't great, but yeah, Disney Illusion Island. That was another game I said I was gonna review, and I didn't, because I do not.
I mean, I saw the copy in your room. room.
Yeah, I don't like this game. This game is not. Like it's.
I mean, it looks good, and I'm sure it's fun in its own way. But then again, I think it's more for beginners than like anything.
The weird thing is, like, you making an easy game, a game for, like, kids to play. Why is it a Metroidvania? Kids don't know how to fucking play a Metroidvania. And it's just,
I remember as a teen even seeing, like, a Snoopy game that was, like, an actual platformer. It wasn't Metroidvania, really. It was, like, A to B.
But, like, it's also a game where it's just, you go from point A to point B. That is literally, there's no combat. You can't jump on enemies. You sort of just avoid them. it's just, I don't know, like I got really bored with this game, but yeah. So my vote my vote is Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Are you okay? I get it, but you I think legit died on that one for a sec.
Yeah, I think I'm dying. But so what game do you pick?
This one is kind of obvious, but I did play a bit of Sonic. I mean, honestly, to say Sonic Mania is still superior.
Oh yeah,
Mario Wonder I completed. It goes to that. I have the special title screen as well.
Yeah. So Mario Wonder for you?
Yeah. I mean, Mario Odyssey took the title for 2017, so it makes sense for Wonder to, follow in its footsteps.
All right, moving on. Best fighting game. This one was the one I was anticipating because everyone's been saying this has been like the redemption year for fighting games, and yeah, I'd say so. Two of these games I've never heard of, which, how can you never heard of them, DPX? You're a big fighting game fan. But yeah, two of these games I've never heard of, and one of them is a game I've been playing recently, but we'll talk. So we got God of Rock, which is one of the games I've never heard of, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. So, okay. God of Rock, I've never heard of before today. Same with Pocket Bravery. Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, let me tell you about this one. It was a game that I was cautiously optimistic for, but then I think it was like the roster leak that kind of like soured me a little.
Yeah, the roster I think killed it for a lot of people.
And I was, so for a while I'm just like, I'm gonna buy it, but I'm not gonna like it. And then at a certain point I'm just like, wait, why am I buying it if I'm not gonna like it? Just don't buy it. But then the reviews came out, they were fucking glowing. IGN gave it a 9. To put that in perspective, that's the same score they gave Street Fighter 6. Like, that's insane that they gave Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl a 9.
It beats Spider-Man. It beats Spider-Man on their end. Yeah,
they gave Spider-Man like an 8.5 or something like that.
Yeah, they gave it an 8 out of 10.
So, according to IGN, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is like one of the better games this year. And I didn't give it a 9, but like Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 is a fucking huge improvement over the first game. But really, this category, it comes down to Mortal Kombat 1 and Street Fighter 6. Mortal Kombat 1 is great. It's got like it shows that NetherRealm are like unmatched when it comes to doing like fighting game stories, and the world building, the lore and all that. What they do with the new timeline is amazing, and it kind of gives them, like, I thought this being a reboot of Mortal Kombat was like an excuse to have a weak roster, but no, they got a really stacked roster. But
yeah, this one is pretty stacked, even if they have to rewrite some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like Scorpion, for example.
As much as I love Mortal Kombat 1, though, my vote is Street Fighter 6. It's one of the best fighting games I've played in a while. The campaign mode, like, it doesn't try like Street Fighter 5 did and gives us a fucking cringe-ass story.
Yeah, the cinematic... Oh, and it came out later, actually, after the game launched, from what I remember. Like, you had to download it separately.
Yeah, so, Street Fighter 6 is, like, feature-rich. It has so much content. The World Tour mode is, like, you could sell that
World Tour is fun. It's fun.
You could sell that for, like, I wouldn't say $60, but you could sell that for a good, like, $40 game. And I think that'd be worth it. It's and the characters are like, this roster. It's small and it's very Street Fighter 2 heavy, which I think Capcom really needs to move on from Street Fighter 2. But like, it's a
I don't think they can. I don't think they can at this rate.
But it's a solid roster. It's an amazing. If I'm gonna say this, if Tears of the Kingdom did not come out this year, Street Fighter 6 would be my game of the year. So. Yeah. So your pick for best, your you're also like a fighting game junkie like me. So, but I think you might be more so. So, what do you pick? What are your thoughts on each of these nominees, by the way?
All right, so God of Rock, I remember seeing trailers of actually.
Oh, so
it came out, I believe, in spring, if I was right. Yeah, Pocket Bravery had a demo, I remember. I did try it, and most of it, I think, was because of the inclusion of Sho Kamui from Breakers. It's a indie game, but it's decent for what it is. Nick All-Star Brawl 2, I mean, the roster, I felt took a nerf, but hearing from what the gameplay is, probably isn't an improvement.
I will say...
I'm probably just going to get the game on sale, if anything.
Not to interrupt you, don't get the Switch version. For the love of God, do not get the Switch version. If you're gonna get it.
Why do you think I have a PS5 and a Steam Deck?
Yeah, good.
To avoid, I only use my Switch for like first party nowadays.
Yeah.
Right.
For Nickelodeon,
so
I just want to say Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2 took a giant nerf when it came to the roster. Everything else though took a giant buff. I just want to say that. Sorry, that wasn't really.
Remember, it's a soul for a soul, as they say.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
All right. So back on it. More MK1. So even though it might not win for here, it surprisingly won best multiplayer for Golden Joystick. And then I see this quote repost that was like, oh, it lacks this and it lacks that. Like it's all like the criticizing of the game of what it was missing from previous Mortal Kombat. So it was like, oh, congratulations, NetherRealm. I find that kind of funny. I mean, then again, Omni-Man just came out and Invasion
Omni-Man's
Season 2 started.
Right,
so I mean, the obvious one for me of best is SF6. I mean, I've grinded enough time into it. It's super fun. I mean, even if it's lost its player base, I mean, it's a game I still enjoy.
It's a game that was gonna lose its player base, but like it's.
I mean, it's inevitable, but then again,
Street Fighter is like, it's never not irrelevant. I feel that's a game that's gonna lose its player base. It's like. It's not gonna be, the player base isn't gonna be as strong as, but like I can go back to that anytime and have a lot of fun, but yeah, but still like a fighting game of the year nominee or category with both a Street Fighter game and a Mortal Kombat game is crazy. But yeah, we've been on this one for a while, so we're gonna move on to best
SF6
RPG
for both of us. Next.
Yeah. Best RPG, another stacked category. We got Baldur's Gate 3, which, let's be real, like, our picks aside, Baldur's Gate 3 is going to win. But Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16, Lies of P, Sea of Stars, and shockingly enough, the only category that this game got nominated for, to my memory, Starfield. I'm going to go over some of these. Lies of P... That game is objectively really good. It's just not a game for me. Starfield, it pains me to say that Starfield was not. It pains me to see that Starfield was not nominated for anything, and it pains me even more to like agree with that. Because I don't think it deserved to get nominated for Game of the Year. Because it's just too flawed. I feel like a lot of stuff it has, it has a lot of great ideas, but they're not. I don't even want to say they're executed poorly. They're just not executed. They're executed very flawed, and a lot of you have you're going through a lot of menus in the game, it's very menu heavy, and but the UI, I don't like the UI that much. So a lot of the game is menus. But bad UI. And you're using fast travel a lot as well. Which kind of defeats some of the fun, but at the same time, it takes incredibly long. There's also no map when you're on land. And a lot of the AI is just really annoying. But, I like what they tried to do. It's just a little, it's not even that bad of a game. It's just...
Yeah, it's definitely not bad, but I feel definitely it did take some nerfs before launch.
Yeah.
I remember one big controversy was the game's frame rate with, being locked to 30.
Yeah, that shit doesn't bother me so much, but it's Yeah, it just.
I mean, I've switched between depending on the games, and I see the difference.
Yeah, I thought, man, I thought Starfield would have been a lock to be like a critically acclaimed game of the year, and then like, thus making it a lock for game of the year. But it got one nominee. It might have gotten another thing, but then the other three, we got Sea of Stars, amazing game. I love that. It's my indie game of the year. When we get to that category, but so yeah, Sea of Stars is a banger. Final Fantasy 16 and Baldur's Gate 3. I really like Baldur's Gate 3. It's not a DPX game necessarily, but like it broke through. You know, it's a game that I gotta say, like, it is an impressive game. It is an amazing game. I am really great at making compliments here, but I'm gonna go with Final Fantasy 16 actually. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to go with the same since it's the only one I actually played, and also, I mean, even though it's PS5 exclusive now, I mean, Square still did a really good job here.
Yeah. I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is one of those games that's kind of fun to hate on. A lot of people who didn't play it just hate on it. You can tell when someone actually has played it and doesn't like it, and when someone hasn't played it and they're just shitting on it just for fun. But Final Fantasy 16 is an amazing game. I might need to retract my 10 out of 10 that I gave it, because I'm not quite sure about that. I don't know if it's a 10, but it's definitely a banger. But let's not bullshit here. Baldur's Gate's gonna win. Like, did you?
I mean, probably will be, but then again, Final Fantasy would be a close second, in my opinion.
Best action adventure.
And this is another meaty one.
Our nominee, yeah, for sure. Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now
I know you've played through all these for the most part.
I have finished every single one of these games, and they are all great. They are all going to make my list for sure. Now I will say they have another category. I don't know if it's the next one or not, but they have best action game in addition to this best action adventure game. I feel like you can rope those two together. I don't know why they don't do that, but they have fucking sim and strategy under one category. But God, this is tough. Like, as an action adventure game, which one of these is the best? Let's see. Alan Wake 2. That one's more. That one's like got some survival horror shit. Like that. Like, it's not really. Fuck. It's not really like that action heavy. You know, and I think. But it does have some action sequences, and all those are crazy. Spider-Man 2. It's got the combat. Resident Evil 4 has like a refined feeling, but Jedi Survivor also got the action adventure though. Throwing in the adventure part, I'm gonna go Zelda.
Yeah, I think Zelda would make the most sense here. Spider-Man is more action oriented, and I mean, can go for Resident Evil 4 for the most part, being that those are the only others I played in this list.
Jedi Survivor
RE4 initially
very actiony. So.
Yeah, RE4, like the original, not the remake. From what I keep discussing with the friend, is like, oh, more action based, and then remake is going to be more like horror oriented.
Yeah, and that's what they did.
The original.
That's what they did.
And Capcom pulled it off pretty good.
Yeah, Capcom had a good year this year, despite putting out.
Pretty much.
Despite putting out.
There were a few bumps. Exo Primal I think is the only bump they have, but even otherwise then, it's been pretty good.
But even then, that did really well for them. Like, a lot of people were playing Exo Primal. I mean, no one's talking about it now, but like, a lot more people played that than I thought were going to. But yeah, so you go with
I ever get like a good for action adventure, it's Zelda.
Yeah.
Regarding Exo Primal, if I ever get like a good PC, I'll probably just play it on that. It's like a game meant to be played on computer and not console.
Yeah. All right. Next up, it is the next one, best action game. And it's so weird too that like, you have best action game and best action adventure game. They should be the same category, but they're not. But every game in best action game was not in best action adventure game. None of these games were in the previous category. We got Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, Ghost Runner 2, Hi-Fi Rush, and Remnant 2. So I have not played Remnant 2. I have not played Ghost Runner 2. I have not played Dead Island 2, but I do have it. I just haven't played it yet. So I've played Hi-Fi Rush and I played Armored Core 6. Armored Core 6, that's another game I said I was going to review and I just didn't. And that's because...
Wow, sad. That is sad, bro.
Yeah, that's just because I'm not built for this game. It's not really a game for me. But look.
I mean, I haven't played, but I'll probably get a Black Friday for like a discount, maybe.
Yeah. Look. Here's my thoughts. I'm not saying the game's bad. I'm not saying the game is bad. But I just feel like if Armored Core wasn't from Software, you know, if everything about this game was the exact same, the only difference it was made by a different studio, would people care so much? Or would it just be some random old dormant mech franchise that came back randomly? That's all I got to say. I'm sorry.
Yeah, then again, none of the Armored Core games are like the old ones. They haven't even re-released them.
Yeah, I'm sorry to piss off.
It makes no sense. Like, look at Dark Souls. Like, even that's gotten re-releases.
Yeah, I'm sorry to piss off Armored Core fans. This is a very well-made game. It's very tough, and but like in a good way, like in a way that keeps you kind of engaged, keeps you wanting to play it. But for me, it's Hi-Fi Rush. I'm
gonna have to agree with you on that.
People are saying Microsoft got a little snubbed this year. They put out Hi-Fi Rush. It's a damn good game.
I'll be honest with you. Hi-Fi Rush is really the only good thing from Xbox this year.
Yeah, I mean, well, Party Animals, I guess. I think they published that one. Party Animals is really good. You guys should try that one. If you guys got Game Pass, you should try it. It's a lot of fun. But Hi-Fi Rush, yeah.
I have a Steam account, maybe, if it goes on sale. Because it's not Game Pass oriented. It's a DRM.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is best action game for me. Best VR AR game. Like, this one's always
okay. This is irrelevant. This is irrelevant to us, honestly, for the most part.
This is a category that I feel like, you know, why do they bother with this one every year? They bother with this one every year, but they never bother to do like a best remake category. And it's just like, you know, there are so many remakes that like don't get nominated that should, for something at least, you know. Like I'm actually kind of surprised the Dead Space remake, I think it did get nominated for something this year.
It did, I remember.
Yeah, I forget
that's
what.
later.
I think it might have been sound design, if I'm going to be honest. Let come back to this part of the video if that's the case. But yeah, I just don't. I don't understand why they always do this one, especially since VR it hasn't like taken off really. It really hasn't. But yeah, my vote is gonna be either Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, or Resident Evil Village. I was gonna play Humanity. I think that's like. I don't think that's like that requires VR. I could be wrong though. I've heard of Synapse, but I've not played that one, and I don't know anything about it.
The only reason why I've heard about Synapse is because of David Hayter and Jennifer Hale.
They're in that game?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, that's pretty cool, actually.
And I mean, David Hayter even sounds like Snake in that one.
Yeah. But, so, Horizon Call of the Mountain, that's like its own game, which I haven't played. So
pretty much.
We're going to take that out. Gran Turismo 7... I can use my...
I remember GT Sport. GT Sport had a VR mode as well, from what I remember.
I could use my knowledge and my time playing GT7 to give this to GT7. The problem is I haven't played GT7. So my answer is Resident Evil Village VR mode, which I'm kind of surprised. I've not followed like their VR stuff, so I'm kind of surprised they have just recently, this year, added a VR mode to this game. But yeah, that's going to be my pick just because I played base Resident Evil Village. Greg, your thoughts?
I don't give two shits for VR. It's Resident Evil. Because RE is probably the best franchise out of all these listed.
Yeah. From what I've heard, our Resident Evil always nails the VR. So, yeah. Best mobile game, another one I don't care. This one I do understand why they do this one, because
just one of the choices they put on is just so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about, but this one I do understand why they throw in here, because it's like you're trying to celebrate video games. You want to get like all eyes on this. Mobile gaming is a big market, but I personally don't care. But we got Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. Let's be real. The de facto winner, Hello Kitty Adventure or Island Adventure. I almost said Adventure Island.
Adventure Island. Wow, another dead Konami franchise that they're not going to revive ever.
Yeah. Greg's pick, Honkai Star Rail. Monster Hunter Now.
You don't know that fully.
And
then we have Terra Nil.
Terra Nil, which is a game published by Netflix. But
why?
I've not played any of these games. I guess I would have to use my knowledge and my my love for the IPs that are already here. So that means Terra Nil that's just its own thing. I don't really care. Using Hoyoverse for Honkai Star Rail, that can fuck right off. Sorry, Greg. Hello Kitty, let's
get... Fine, I don't care.
So that's maybe cut.
Wow, that sounds a little off, but okay, I'll take it.
No, I meant to say that like I might need to cut that out. Oh shit. So we got Monster Hunter and Final Fantasy. Not played either of these games, but I'm going to go with Final Fantasy just because it's Final Fantasy.
Alright, so let us continue on my end. So Terra Nil, I have no idea what that is. Hello Kitty is just so funny on why they put it on, but you should, I'm not... Jedi...
I'm kidding.
This...
You know what? I'm picking Hello Kitty. I'm not kidding.
Alright, so my pick. Alright, so Monster Hunter. I actually did see someone play in my campus, but it's a Niantic game. It's like Pokemon Go.
Oh, I didn't even notice it was Niantic. I think I knew that at one point, but like I had forgotten.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, they actually are developing the game for Steam as well. So to save space on my phone, I'm probably gonna try it on there. So Honkai is probably the only one I actually did play and I enjoy. Like, at the end of the day, Hoyo loves to milk for money, but you could just enjoy it, like, even if it's free, honestly. Which is what I'm doing for the most part, so yeah, HSR is probably going to take the spot for me.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even kidding when I say that I changed my vote to Hello Kitty. Best debut indie game. Your nominees are Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder. A lot of people get confused, like what's the difference between this and best indie game? This is like the best indie game, the best debut game created by a new independent studio. So like a studio putting out their first game or something like that. Which is a little weird because for Cocoon we see Annapurna Interactive, and for Dredge we see Team 17, which they've put out games before, but I think it's the developer or...
Yes, the developers.
Yeah, or it could be the publisher, but I have not played...
Publishers do have like indie labels, honestly, sometimes, like even Konami.
Yeah. I have not played any of these games. I've heard great things about Cocoon. I've heard great things about Viewfinder, and I've heard great things about Pizza Tower, and I've actually bought Pizza Tower a while ago, and I haven't played it yet. I do plan on playing that soon, though. So because of that, I'm going to go with Pizza Tower. I'm kind of surprised this didn't get nominated for Best Indie Game, but we'll get to
that. I mean, what you going to do about it? Yeah, so, in my end, everything else can fuck off. Pizza Tower is for Pepino, for Pizza Face, for everyone on Tour de Pizza. Now bring the game to other consoles. I mean, I have the Steam version. It works great on Steam Deck. Just please make it available for everyone. This is a masterpiece.
I just want to say when you said Pizza Tower is, and then you completely like your audio just completely glitched out.
All right, I'll re-say that. It's a masterpiece.
Okay, well we got that part, but whatever, never mind. Best. Why did it skip that one? Best independent game. Now it's a little weird. I was listening to Kinda Funny's podcast earlier where they're talking about this. They made a good point that like why is it there's a difference between indie game and independent game. Like indie game's kind of like the label, but independent, you're saying like that one you're saying is more like they're small they're smaller studios, but like some of these I'll read them out. Like we got Cocoon again. We got Dave the Diver, Dredge, Sea of Stars, and Viewfinder. They mentioned Dave the Diver, and Mint Rocket is the developer, and I believe like they are owned by Nexon, which they are not an indie. Company. So,
yeah, they're not. That's just really funny, honestly.
I'd say Dave the Diver being on here makes more sense than like if Baldur's Gate 3 were to be on here, because
Baldur's Gate as an indie game because it's not the same team.
Technically, it is an indie game. Larian are kind of like an independent studio, but that you cannot say that like
because it's already an IP, honestly.
And also budget wise, you cannot fucking tell me like Baldur's Gate 3. Like that's almost cheating putting Baldur's Gate 3 in this category. And same with the game like Hi-Fi Rush. People are calling that an indie game. That game is developed by Tango Gameworks and it's published by Microsoft and Bethesda. Like anyways, my pick is Sea of Stars because that game is like very it's like a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger. It's made by the same people who made The Messenger, and it takes place in the same universe as The Messenger, which was something I didn't know until I played the game. And it's like you could just see the love pouring out of it. Like Yasunori Mitsuda did some of the music, and it goes so hard. And it's a fun time. It's a great story as well. And there's cool boss fights. I had a lot of fun with this game. Greg, what's your pick for best independent?
So I know Sea of Stars. I think from all the influences, even though I haven't played it, even though this is controversial, probably Dave the Diver.
I wouldn't say it's controversial. I've heard good things about that.
I think it's just more or less yeah, I mean, it's a good game, but I think the controversy part is, the publishing and whatnot. Because, Nexon owning Mint Rocket.
Yeah. Yeah, what game do you think is going to win? We haven't really discussed that for that many categories here. What game do you think is going to win?
Probably Sea of Stars, maybe.
It'd probably be that one. Because I haven't really, wasn't until recently where I've really heard of Cocoon. I know that came out, a couple months ago, but, still. I also haven't really heard of Dave the Diver till recently. And I guess I've heard of Viewfinder and Dredge. Dredge I've never heard of before today. But, yeah, that's just me, though. Best community support. Recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates / patches. So your nominee. Okay, I'm gonna read the nominees, and So then your nominees are Baldur's Gate 3, which I selected by accident, and I didn't mean to do that yet, but you guys can't see it yet, though, so... But, yeah, I just selected Baldur's Gate 3 by accident. But we got Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, I was going to say 16, Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky. The thing here is, this category is always, the same, the same 3 games.
Same nominees.
Yeah, now Baldur's Gate's on there, which they've really Like, Larian have been really great when it comes to community support, and Cyberpunk has made a huge comeback. I'm gonna... It's either Baldur's Gate or Cyberpunk. I'm gonna give Baldur's Gate this award. Cyberpunk, I feel
Probably,
like
I would have to give it. Yeah, Cyberpunk is definitely a different thing.
No, Cyberpunk. There's another. It's like best ongoing game. I think Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's one of the nominees. Yeah, it's one of the best nominees.
And I think it wins that one for me personally. But I think Baldur's Gate 3 wins this one, personally. Greg, your thoughts?
So, I'm probably gonna have to go with Final Fantasy 14, considering all the events that have been going on for the game.
Yeah.
Like they had that whole freaking showcase where the game is like even announced to come to Xbox.
Yeah. So yeah, Final Fantasy 14 for you, Baldur's Gate 3 for me. All right, next up. Hey, look at that. Best ongoing game. Your nominees are Apex Legends,
what we just mentioned.
Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14. I almost said 16 again. What the fuck's wrong with me? Fortnite and Genshin Impact. Every year, it's Final Fantasy, Fortnite, Apex, and Genshin are always there.
Cyberpunk is like the only outlier, but then again, it's for a good reason.
And it wins. I haven't even played the
the new DLC, the Phantom Liberty.
Yeah, I've not played that yet. I wanted to. I just haven't gotten around.
Yeah,
to
me
it.
too.
I'm one of the few people I'm one of the few people who liked Cyberpunk when it came out. So I'm definitely gonna check out the DLC. But
Cyberpunk was good, definitely, but most of the criticizing came with like the console issues. Like the PC version, from what I heard, was fine day one.
Yeah, here's the thing though. Like, Cyberpunk wins this one for me because, like, they really they were able to do something that once the game came out, many people said CD Projekt Red were not going to be able to do it, and they did it. They turned it around. Cyberpunk is, like, from what I've heard, it is what it should have been at launch. A lot of people said that Cyberpunk maybe should have been up for Game of the Year this year. I don't know about that, and it's not. But yeah, like, they really turned it around. So I have to give Cyberpunk the win here, and I think it's cool that it's not all live service games here. I don't think Cyberpunk should be here next year. I don't think they have anything any big updates or anything like that planned for next year for this game. So yeah, let the non-live service game win the live service category. Greg, your thoughts on this category?
Cyberpunk is definitely a unique one, and I am gonna give it my vote. Honestly, CD Projekt Red really has made this game. They really turned it around for the better. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, not even just because of the DLC. Edge Runners, I think, also helped quite a bit.
Yes. That was another one, yeah. Alright, next up, Games for Impact. It's always a bunch of games I've never heard of, but funny enough, I've heard of two of these, and I've even played through and reviewed one of them. That's something new, but we'll go over them. We got A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Senar, fuck, Goodbye Volcano High, which is one of the two games, which is the one I've heard of, I haven't played. Chia, which is the game I have actually played. Terra Nil, and Venba. Kind of like that one esports one. Why is this of all categories get 6 nominees? That's so weird to me. It's always like a bunch of games that, like, most people I see looking at most people voting that I see voting have never heard of most of these games. The only game I played is Chia, so I'm gonna vote for that one. But I thought Chia was kind of mid. I mean, I'm sure it tells a cute little story, but, like, it's like baby's first open world game. Yeah, I don't really got much to say. Greg, what are your thoughts?
I haven't played any for these, but I've heard of Chia. I've heard of Goodbye Volcano High. Considering actually Goodbye Volcano High, I remember that being showcased with the PS5 showcase
Yeah,
in
I do remember
2020.
that. Yeah.
Game took forever to come out, but I'm probably just gonna give it to Chia because why not? Honestly, I played
Yeah.
none of them.
I'm surprised I played a game that was nominated there, but yeah. All right. So moving on to innovation in accessibility, which this one too. Why does this one have 6? But recognizing software and or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. So your nominees are Diablo 4, fuck off Blizzard, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, and Street Fighter 6. I didn't even realize that the 2 fighting games were nominated for this category.
Yeah, a lot of it is because of the easy controls, I'd say.
Yeah.
Like the easy schemes that
You know
they put.
that's big. You know, the like the modern controls for Street Fighter 6, like that's
Yeah, I'm explaining to people who don't play Street Fighter or know the game that well. It's like, oh, you don't even need to know. There's modern controls, even though it takes away some of your tools.
yeah, but like that's big when it comes to accessibility. Mortal Kombat 1 has crazy accessibility options. Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't really look in Hi-Fi Rush. I didn't really need the accessibility stuff. But Forza Motorsport, Forza always has some crazy accessibility options. Like they got like a, excuse me. I remember Forza Horizon 5 had like a, what was it? Like a sign language mode. Like that's crazy when it comes to accessibility. And so yeah, Forza Motorsport has some crazy accessibility, but like I feel like PlayStation always has like some of the best.
Yeah, PS is getting more like integrated. I feel.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Spider-Man. Your thoughts?
I mean, I didn't really use it for Spider-Man, but I think
I didn't
SF6.
use it either. I just
Yeah, just I feel Street Fighter 6 with the modern controls.
I just realized, yeah, I might. I never really went back to Street Fighter 6 in this discussion. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say Street Fighter 6. I didn't really.
Yeah, just SF6. I feel with the modern controls with making it easier for new players.
Damn,
I mean, even pro players are switching on it here and there.
Yeah, I didn't even. You guys can't see this, but like, I really like the graphics here. Every time like you select, every time you vote, it gives you like a little graphic that has the name of the category and then a picture of the game you just voted for. It looks kind of fire, to be honest, the little graphics. But yeah, that's that. Best performance. This one's also 6 nominees.
This is another really good.
This one makes
another
sense
really good
6.
one, to be honest.
Yeah, best performance we got Ben Starr as Clive Rosfield in Final Fantasy 16. I don't understand why it doesn't fucking say who they play as. It just says what they were in. But Cameron Monaghan as Star Wars, yeah, as Cal Kestis.
He is a Star Wars. Yeah, it's Cal Estes from Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Idris Elba as I don't know because I haven't played the DLC yet, but
this is so silly.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh my god.
Liberty. We have Melanie Liburd in Alan Wake 2 as Saga Anderson. Neil Newbun in Baldur's Gate 3. He was I forget the guy's name, but it was like started with an A. I forget his name, but and Yuri Lowenthal.
And now, last but not least, Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker,
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
in
and Spider-Man 2.
So, I haven't played Cyberpunk. I haven't played the Cyberpunk DLC, but I feel like selecting. I feel like excuse me. I feel like God damn it, I can't get this out. Idris Elba being
Buddy, are you good?
Idris Elba being on here is cheating. I feel like because he's like a Hollywood actor.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's an actual actor.
I mean, so is
He's gonna be Knuckles again.
So is Cameron Monaghan. He's not going to be Knuckles. Like, that's not what I was responding to, but I didn't think you thought that. But Cameron Monaghan's also been in, like, other stuff. But he's great as Cal. Let's see. Neil Newbon is great in Baldur's Gate. Melanie LeBird is great as Saga Anderson. To me, though, it's between Ben Starr as Clive and Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker. And I'm not quite sure, Greg. Which of these 6 nominees are you gonna go for?
I mean, most of them, like a good 2/3 of them, could get cut out. Like Ben Starr is really good as Clive, but crap, the webpage crashed on my end. Oh, that was unintended. Let me just reload. So yeah, so I am probably gonna have to go with Yuri Lowenthal. I mean, his performance as Peter was phenomenal in Spider-Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially when he got the symbiote. He got that like edge on, like that was next level.
Yeah, no, he knocked it out of the park with that. Yeah, this one's tough. This one is really tough.
They should have put fucking Najee Jeter in there as well.
Yeah.
as you know, Miles. I mean, it might not be necessary since I feel Spider-Man 2 wasn't as focused around him, but then again, they confirmed what the future is for the series.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I think just to divide it up, I think it will actually be Yuri Lowenthal, but I'm gonna say Ben Starr because like the emotion in Final Fantasy 16, like I feel like was really helped by Ben Starr's performance. So yeah, I'm gonna select Ben Starr for that. But yeah, everyone here did great. Everyone here deserved that nominee. So best audio design. It's something that I don't really pay much attention to, but when it's there, like when a game has great audio design, I point it out. And I only point it out if it's noticeably great. So, the nominees here are Alan Wake 2, Dead Space 2. Hey, I think I said that I thought that was nominated for best audio design, so look at that. So, Alan Wake 2, Dead Space 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Spider-Man 2, and Resident Evil 4 Remake. I mean, I don't care too much about audio design. Wanna know what's crazy? Zelda's not here. I actually remember mentioning the audio design of Zelda.
No Zelda.
I remember.
No Zelda.
I
How
remember,
sad.
Mentioning the audio design in my Zelda review, but it's gotta be one of the horror games, cause like those like horror games like.
Yeah, the horror games here had really good design. It's between Dead Space and Resident Evil for me.
I was thinking more between Alan Wake and Dead Space, and I could see Alan Wake maybe. I can see myself voting for Alan Wake and maybe a couple of other categories. So I'm gonna give this one to Dead Space.
I'm gonna have to agree with you on that. I mean, I only played an hour and a half of the remake because of a Steam trial, but I felt the audio design with this one, with like the environment and all. I think Motive did it really well.
All right, next up, best scored music. We got Alan Wake 2. We got Baldur's Gate 3. Final Fantasy 16. Hi-Fi Rush. And Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. All these have some really good soundtracks. Alan Wake 2, it's more like actual songs though. It's not. Alan Wake 2's music, like it has a soundtrack, it has like songs, like tracks, like background music or whatever that add to the tone and set the mood, but they're not like bangers, if you know what I mean. But there's like, spoiler alert, there's a whole musical number in the game at some point. That goes hard. Baldur's Gate 3 has some really good music. Final Fantasy 16, of course, the soundtrack for Final Fantasy 16 never hits. but some don't hit as hard as others. And I feel like while Final Fantasy 16's soundtrack does go pretty hard, it doesn't hit as hard as some of the other soundtracks. Hi-Fi Rush, maybe. This is a game where, like, you... oh, fuck. This is a game where you kind of... It needs a good soundtrack. If it... Like, having a good soundtrack is half the battle with a game like this. And then there's Tears of the Kingdom. I think it might be Tears of the Kingdom. I'm gonna select Zelda. It has... Like... It just got... The soundtrack is unbelievable in that game, I personally feel. Greg, what are your thoughts?
I'm between Hi-Fi and Zelda on this one. Part of me wants to choose Hi-Fi because of how vibrant it is, but then again, Zelda is Zelda. It's like so classic. People recognize it for what it is.
Yeah. So
probably in this case, I'll choose Zelda.
Yeah, agreeing with me. Okay. Best art direction. Your nominees are Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Liza P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Now this is a tough because they all got some really good art direction. Alan Wake 2, what they did with that game and the art style and what they did with the art style and all that, I think like it's the way it shifts between like in-game stuff and live action footage is like that's unlike anything I've ever seen before. Like that is insane. But I wouldn't really give like that. I wouldn't really call that art direction necessarily. Liza P, again, not a game for me, but that's a decent art direction. I would give this to Zelda. But it uses the same art direction and art style as
Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So it's between the Hi-Fi Rush and Mario Wonder. I'm gonna give it to Mario. That's just me though. Greg, your thoughts?
I'm agreeing with you again on this one, but I have an honest reason behind it. Like, compared to the new Super Mario Brothers games, I feel this one, like, starts to poke things out, like, a lot more broad.
This art style is fucking uncomparable.
Yeah, like...
to new Super.
Essentially, like, Nintendo is legit making a new chapter in the Mario series, and, like, the artwork and how they style the Flower Kingdom and all the characters and even like the wacky stuff like the Elephant Mario and whatnot. Like legit, I feel they went above and beyond for a Mario game with this one.
Yeah. Next up, best narrative. Got Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2. All great games to choose from. I've not played the DLC for Cyberpunk, so we can bump that one out.
It's scratched in here.
Yeah. Although it is pretty impressive to see DLC get nominated here. I guess that's just how much of an impact and how much they've improved Cyberpunk. But a game like Baldur's Gate 3, let's be real, it's probably going to win this category. But like I kind of feel like a game like Baldur's Gate 3, where you can take the narrative in so many different directions, I feel like it's kind of cheating putting it here. But it's also kind of hard for me to vote for it, because, like, what is the narrative in this game? You can take it in so many different directions. There are, like, from what I know, there is, like, 1,000 endings or something like that. Like, that's insane. So it's kind of hard for me to really give this one to Baldur's Gate 3. It is probably going to win, though. Spider-Man 2, the narrative on there is great. You kind of almost get two narratives. Like, it focuses more on Peter, of course, but Miles, you see his narrative and you see Peter's. It's a narrative that's like a Marvel movie, like a very long Marvel movie, though. So it feels like something we've seen before. So for me, it's between Final Fantasy 16 and Alan Wake 2. And I thought, like, after I played Final Fantasy 16. I thought that might be my best narrative. I'm gonna go with Alan Wake 2. The narrative, like, it's kind of like Spider-Man 2. They have two different narratives in that game. You follow Alan Wake and you follow Saga Anderson. But what they do with both characters and how they kind of split the story up. How they split the story up. You find out certain things. Certain things are set up through Alan, and you get answers to them through Saga, and vice versa. And like it's like I'm gonna say, like, Alan Wake 2. The way that narrative is done is like Alan Wake 2 is a game that is unlike anything I've ever seen, and the narrative is certainly part of it. So, Greg, what are your thoughts?
So the only one I have fully played through and even 100%ed is Spider-Man 2. Like, even though it might be like a rinse and repeat, I feel still it's a really unique narrative. I mean, considering like what the end teases are, it's only gonna get like bigger and better. Like, even if it's like on the PS6 still, it's gonna be pretty big. And even so, we still have Wolverine on the way.
Oh, I can't wait.
Like, possibly next year? Yeah, possibly next year we could see Wolverine. So, yeah, Marvel's New York could be connected altogether, possibly, in a chance.
I think it was confirmed that Wolverine takes place in the same universe as Spider-Man.
It's gonna be the same universe, but I don't know if it's a crossover, like, fully, like, if they ever do that. Like, I doubt, but it would be interesting.
Yeah, okay, next up, best game direction.
Oh wait, not adaptation.
You're Whoops. Like really
variety. Variety is weird. I'll be honest.
Yeah, best game direction. I know whatever game wins this category wins game of the year. So, yeah. Your nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Tears of the Kingdom. All the games nominated for Game of the Year, except for Resident Evil 4 Remake. That one is not on here. But, best direction.
Because it's a remake.
Yeah.
Because RE4 is a remake. Even with DLC, it's still just a remake.
I'm kind of surprised to see Super Mario Bros. Wonder on here.
I mean, like, when you hear about the development stories, it's like, oh, yeah. Nintendo never gave us deadlines.
No,
it's
that's
like,
great.
Just work at your leisure and cook, make a masterpiece, and you know what they did.
No, that's amazing that they didn't have a deadline for that one. I almost want to pick Super Mario Bros. Wonder, just because I want to see that one win. So a game not having a deadline could become like a thing now, so developers don't get rushed.
Nintendo can make it a norm. Honestly, looking at them.
No, what they do a lot. What they do a lot is, like, they'll have a game just done, and they'll just have it sit there for a year before they even announce it. So, like, they might have done that. Who knows how long Mario Wonder has been done for? So, yeah. But as for direction, maybe give it to Zelda. But just because I haven't given enough votes to this, I'm gonna give the nod to Baldur's Gate 3, just because I'm not, spoiler, I'm not gonna, that's not gonna be my pick for Game of the Year. But yeah. Greg, your thoughts?
Not choosing game of the year, but obviously, oh my god, yeah. But regarding the direction, I like the idea of, like, the no deadlines for, like, Super Mario Wonder, because Nintendo was able to take the time and make something that, is reflective on them, like how it's not another new Super Mario Brothers, because that series got kind of stale by the time, like, 3DS Wii U was out. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably gonna put Super Mario Wonder for that.
Yep. Okay. Now, next up. Last but not least. Oh, God, no, not least. Game?
Not least because they're all peak. I'm gonna spoil it. Gonna be peak.
Game
Now you can continue.
of the year. By far, the most stacked Game of the Year lineup I think the Game Awards has ever had. Your nominees are Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I just want to say for the record, you can you can go on Twitter, see my one of my most recent tweets, and see that I actually predicted all 6 of these. Bang on. Feels good to know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But yeah. Before we excuse me, before we give our predictions for Game of the Year. Well, first of all, Game of the Year, it's going to come down to either Zelda or Baldur's Gate. It's a 50-50, I feel. But, but before we discuss that, let's go over maybe some games we thought were snubbed. And there are 2 games I've seen get brought up a lot when it comes to games that were snubbed. One of them is Starfield. And we kind of talked about this before, but Starfield, like, it has some great ideas, and it's got it's definitely like ambitious and has like it's not a terrible game. It's just not Game of the Year material. Yeah, and the other game that you can say got snubbed is Final Fantasy 16. And I feel like if any one of these games did not make the nominees, if any one of these games did not make it, it probably would have gotten replaced with FF16. I just don't think there was room for it this year. I think Alan Wake 2 was like the game that kind of pushed.
It overtook Final Fantasy, honestly.
If it wasn't for that game, like before I played that game, I was like, okay, I was set on these nominees being the nominees, but instead of Alan Wake, it was going to be Final Fantasy. And then Alan Wake came out. I'm like, there's no way. Like, that game's getting nominated. There is no way it's not. There's a big one, Greg, that I think both you and I are thinking, but I'll let you say it. What game do you think is the biggest snub?
Say Hi-Fi Rush, honestly.
It's not the game I thought you were going to say, but yeah, Hi-Fi Rush is pretty solid. I wouldn't have given it to Hi-Fi Rush. I thought you were going to say Street Fighter. I thought you were going to say Street Fighter 6. I never thought it was
I mean, damn. I probably would have, but then again, I don't see, like, Game of the Year going to fighting games half of the time.
Yeah, I don't... I didn't... I never thought that Street Fighter 6 was going to get nominated for Game of the Year. It would have, like... I would have been overjoyed to see Street Fighter 6.
It's a very good contender, but then again, fighting games have never gotten love for this section for the most part.
The only time a fighting game has ever been nominated for Game of the Year was Smash. And, like, if that game didn't get nominated for Game of the Year... Like, there would have been a fucking riot, probably. But yeah, I just think, like, Street Fighter 6, I feel like, it definitely could have been nominated for Game of the Year this year. It's just, this year was so packed for gaming, with so many games that, like, the grand jury voting would absolutely pick over a fighting game. Me, personally, I've already said that Street Fighter 6 is my second favorite game of the year. So I would have put that game in here. My nominees might actually be... Baldur's Gate 3 is a great game. It's not a DPX game, necessarily. It's going to be on my list of the best games of the year, but, like, it's not... Like, a lot of games came out this year that jive with me a lot more. I would have replaced, if it was my thing, I would have replaced Baldur's Gate 3 with Street Fighter 6. Other than that, I think, yeah. But, yeah, so, That's my game of the year. Let's look at this. So it's between what it's gonna be is between Baldur's Gate and Zelda, and I feel like it literally comes down to if Baldur's Gate doesn't win, it's because of Zelda. And if Zelda doesn't win, it's because of Baldur's Gate. Baldur's Gate might edge out the win just because the grand jury's well, we already gave it to Zelda, so.
I mean, it's gonna follow in Breath of the Wild footsteps.
Yeah, but Baldur's Gate or Zelda is absolutely gonna win. And if either one of those if it's not one of those two games, I think it's gonna be Alan Wake, cause like I said, Alan Wake 2 is a game that I think proves. This is gonna sound cheesy or whatever, but I think it's a game to look at when you discuss whether or not video games are art. Alan Wake 2 is a work of art, and it's something that I've never seen before, and I don't think I'll ever see anything like it ever again. It is a sight to behold. Spider-Man 2 is an amazing game. It's the best Spider-Man game. It's if it wasn't for the Arkham games, I think this would be the best superhero game. Resident Evil 4 Remake is a game, a remake, the best remake. It takes one of the best games of all time, makes it better, and makes it a horror. It changes what it is. It's still Resident Evil 4 at its core, but it's a horror game now. Super Mario Bros. Wonder is a nice return to form for Mario, and does some absolutely amazing stuff. Tears of the Kingdom did an impossible task. It took a game like Breath of the fucking Wild and made it seem small. I don't give a fuck what you tell me. Tears of the Kingdom is almost triple the size of Breath of the Wild. That's insane. So personally, I'm giving it to Tears of the Kingdom. That is my vote for Game of the Year. Greg, what are your thoughts on each of these games? I want you to give me your thoughts on each of these games, where you think they rank in the Game of the Year discussion, and your pick for Game of the Year.
Hey, so Alan Wake 2, from what I have heard, some people have actually been comparing it to the Silent Hills teaser, PT, playable teaser, which obviously can no longer be played. This might be the closest thing to that, actually. And I mean, if it's a piece of art, I mean, it is going to rank pretty high, but I don't feel it's Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate, I feel, is another, really high chance, considering, it has, huge multiplayer community and whatnot. You can play with friends, have a campaign with them, here and there and whatnot. And I actually heard rumors that it's coming to Xbox pretty soon, and it's even going to get a physical disc. So Spider-Man 2, I don't think it's going to be Game of the Year. I know some of my friends want it to be Game of the Year. While it's really enjoyable and it's one of the better superhero games we have seen in recent years, if we're only talking PlayStation Game of the Year, this would obviously take that. Resident Evil 4 Remake, yeah, this is one of the best remakes of a game we've seen in a long time. Probably will not take the top, considering people are going to keep in mind, oh, this is a remake. But then again, it's had, DLC, a completely separate side story, not seeing the original game. Then Mario. I mean, Mario's Mario at the end of the day. Still really fun, but I feel this one just starts a whole new chapter for the franchise. I would see this maybe placing third, if we're counting Game of the Year, and Baldur's Gate at second, but first, and my pick would definitely be Tears of the Kingdom. Breath of the Wild is a great game, and this just improves on every single aspect of that and beyond. Hyrule, as you said, is 3 times the size. And, even so, Link has new abilities different to that from Breath of the Wild, which, honestly, I feel like how it's implemented, you could be way more creative. I've seen people create fucking mechs and whatnot in this game.
Yeah, it's insane. But yeah, long story short, 2023 has been an amazing year for video games. The fact that the fact that a game like Spider-Man 2 or Super Mario Bros. Wonder get nominated for Game of the Year, and we're kind of thinking like they have no chance of winning. Like, that's the year we're in. Those could probably be my picks to win in some normal years. The fact that Baldur's Gate 3 is a game where I'm just like, yeah, it's good, but I just like these other games better. Like, that speaks volumes to this year. Like, I just think this is, like, there really was no stop this year. It kind of felt like every other week there was a huge new game release, and it delivered. And I think this the nominees here really reflect that, my personal opinion. But yeah, so yeah, both of our final predictions for Game of the Year: Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. But hey, I've played all these games. This is a rare case where, like, I've played every game nominated for Game of the Year. And, like, I do end up playing every game that gets nominated, but, like, this is the first time where I've actually made my prediction after playing all 6 of these games, right? Maybe sometimes there'll be, like, one game I didn't play, and I'll play it afterwards. But, so I feel very inclined to give my opinion here. But if any one of these games win, I would be shocked if it's anything other than Zelda or Baldur's Gate. But if any one of these games win, I will not have a problem. I won't have a problem. Because these are some...
Neither would I, honestly.
Yeah, these are some fantastic games. You can argue that these are some of the greatest games of all time, you know? And they all came out this year. What a time to be a
2023 gamer. Is truly peak. It's truly peak.
Yeah. Not so much of a great year for game developers. That all sucks. I'm sorry for them. But as a gamer, what a time to be a gamer. You know what I mean? So that's my thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Any final thoughts for you, Greg?
I mean, who knows if someone is going to rate the show, but you know what? Hopefully Jeff doesn't make it overly lame, and it's going to be peak.
Last year's Game Awards, I thought, was really good. Actually, it was paced very well. And
it was good.
Announcements. Had some announcements
until Matan rated the show.
Yeah, but
that was weird. Let's see what it is this time. It's definitely not GTA 6. I'm thinking the trailer is going to be premiering there.
Oh, that would be huge. And I actually think like
they would do it. I'm calling it now. They would actually do it.
Said they're dropping the trailer in November. We're in November. They said they're dropping it in December.
Early December. It's probably
Game
going to be
Awards
there.
Is early December. I think it's there. I think that they closed the show with that.
Even I've been predicting that they're gonna break everyone, honestly.
That's like big. That's big enough to where, like, you fucking close the show with that, like, as in you announce Game of the Year and then you show GTA 6.
Game of the Year. Game of the Year. Oh, then another Game of the Year.
They're not gonna do that, but at the same time, I honestly feel like GTA 6 would, like, overshadow anything else at the Game Awards. But whatever. That's my thoughts on the Game Awards and the nominees. Those are Greg's thoughts. Greg, where can people follow? Anything you like to plug? Anything you got coming up soon?
All right, share and plug time. Woohoo! So in the description should be my channel links, and then from there on my main page you should find my socials: Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Twitch, Threads, even, although that's a dead platform. I've uploaded some random stuff here and there, but maybe one more thing is on the way that I know, and that's if I can actually master syncing music correctly.
All right, and of course I'm DPX. You can find me DPX Solo on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. My podcast is on SoundCloud. DPX Talks for about an hour on SoundCloud and on Spotify. You can go on Spotify or Spotify for podcasters. DPX Talks for about an hour. I haven't uploaded a new episode. I skipped last month. I'll try to get one out this month. But Yeah, I'm also on Letterboxd, where you can see me logging most. Maybe I'll forget one or two, but you see me reviewing movies on there. And of course, you can follow and subscribe to the other Miikcast members. Their links will be in the description below. And that is this episode of Chill with the Miikcast. I'm for once in a for the most in a what am I saying? For the most I've ever been, probably. I'm excited for the Game Awards to happen in fucking like 4 weeks or whatever. But yeah, I have disappeared. You cannot see my video now. But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up. See you guys. We'll try to have a new episode pretty soon after. But bye.
Happy gaming.